Hello and welcome back to another Green Team meeting this Monday evening. I am Amy B., your host with Marty and Cheryl Turner. And we are here tonight to just talk about, since it's the last Monday of the month, how important that is, how wrapping up your month is the key to a successful business. I know this is one of my mom's staples every month. She goes through and encourages me to do so as well. And it's really easy. Shaklee makes it really easy to see where your team is at, who's close to their mark, who needs to get a little bit more here or a little bit more there. And usually it's just enough to let those people know, just reach out to them and maybe they just forgot or got busy or they were thinking about it and then something happened, but it could be a simple order, or maybe they know someone else who is going to order, they can reach out to them. So it becomes this little, kind of web of people and just a way to get it done. And that's what also strengthens your business through that kind of teamwork and team building. And so I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm going to actually have my mom come on and tell us all of her secrets to success. And then afterwards, Marty is going to join us and talk about looking forward into the next month and upcoming, bonuses and fun stuff to look forward to. So it's a really exciting time at the end of the month here at Shaklee, and I'm going to give it away to you, Mom.
Thank you very much. And we love end of the month. It's an exciting time to be building the business. And in a previous business I was in when I started network marketing, I hated end of month because everybody was so far behind and it was so hard to get to the next bracket. I mean, it was just to be a director, which in Shackley takes 2,000 PB. In that business, it was 7,500 PB. And that was the entry level leadership. So we have a lot better program with this company. And one thing I do is I go through my business leaders and I look where they are and I let them know if they're a little short. I used to have more authority to send them volume, and I'd go through my personal group and find people who were short and just send them the PV. But then Shackley started charging $25 a transfer and then 13 to 15% of whatever you transfer. So I quit doing that. That wasn't a good business move when that changed. But it's important to let your people know in case they're not watching the Shack Deck, which I am very close to. I don't watch the NASDAQ, but I'm all over the Shack Deck. And in our business, it's money in the bank, literally. And so one thing we do is, we'll come up with some specials. Whatever Shackley does, we promote. And right now, Shackley's giving away products with a $100 order, or you can get a discounted product with certain dollar amounts. And there's a whole page in your member center where you can go to see the specials when you go in to do your order. So just be aware, take ownership. It's your business. And that's exactly what it is. It's not a lottery. You don't just hope and pray you reach your bracket. When we first hit the director level, which was the first 2 weeks we were in the business, our volume hit director. And that was very exciting. But then the next month, we promoted a director. And back then, you had to have 2,000 points over your new person. And I didn't have it. And I called one of my guys and said, "Hey, you've got a big order going out tomorrow on the 1st. Would you mind releasing that today?" Well, first of all, I just said, "Would you do me a favor?" He goes, "Sure, anything." And I said, "Okay, I need $1 million. That's SHERYL." And he laughed. And so then when I just asked him to release an order, that was easy compared to the million. So that was the only time that I had to go into the organization and ask someone to do that, because after that time I prepared for it and I made sure I always had the volume that we needed over and above. And now we are at what they call a master level, and we need 50,000 points over our what I call a trunk leg. And so that's something we had to plan for, and we had to help people build their business. And a lot of the people that Marty and I help are not in that outside leg. So we had to find more people. And I have been in this industry since my baby was born, and she is 47 years old. So I literally have talked to everyone I know about this business. So I had to go out and find new people. The other night, Marty and I were at the Lionel Richie concert. That's another story we'll talk about after the call. And there were two really nice people sitting next to me, and I didn't say much because I try not to talk business in the beginning. I wait till the end, and that way you can just click on a link or send them a link, and you don't have to be answering questions the whole time. So I waited till the concert was almost over and started talking. Both of these people were nurses. One was a nurse anesthetist. So I let them see my scars and talked about the last year. I've had 6 major surgeries. And even while I was in the hospital, I was very aware of what our points were and where our volume was, whether it was the beginning of the month or the end of the month. So it's just take ownership. It's common sense to run those numbers, be aware of where they are. Shaklee has a powerful loyalty program. We're going to talk about that next week and how helping people get free stuff will help you build a solid volume. And for people who are business partners, what we call ambassadors, if they do their loyalty orders by the 15th of the month, they get the loyalty points. And that's a way for you to encourage people to have that volume halfway through the month. So you don't have to wait till the end of the month and barely squeak into your bracket every month. And the loyalty program is something that has been powerful. I've had to walk people through how to use it. We have some people who had hundreds of dollars in loyalty points who had never used them. And so I kept track of that. I called them and I said, "Hey, why are you throwing money away?" And of course, they're like, "I don't throw money away." "Oh, yeah, you do. We have loyalty points." And I said, "I get my sparkling protein and my skincare free because I order it with our loyalty points." And that got them interested. So I've walked people through that. We're going to go through the whole system next Monday, so you'll know exactly how to do that. But with that, I think we're going to bring on Marty to show us the money.
Hey, well, good stuff. Sweetie, I'm so impressed with what you've done and how you've done it and have duplicated that. The number one thing about the 15th of the month is not only the loyalty, but also the idea that you can kind of gauge, depending on where you are. It's not usually half, because a lot more comes in towards
Correct.
the end of the month. But at least you have a kind of an idea of where you're at and what you need to do. And at that point is what I would encourage you to start making those calls to the leaders and to the ambassadors, because at that point they know how you doing on the halfway point. They can start thinking about, because if you only call them like 2 days before, now it's a scramble. So 15 days is a good time for a number of things. Remind them of the loyalty orders. Then a 5 day check-in is a great way to start the countdown. Now, you may not necessarily call them every single day or text them or whatever, but at least you can be looking at where they are at the 5 day mark. And then I always think of like 15, 5 to 1. And so the 2 days out is when you need to have that tough talk about the idea that it's just a little bit of a stretch will make them that much more money. And I like how Cheryl breaks down the numbers too, because if you're going to buy extra product anyways for giving away or having in inventory or what have you, it is absolutely worth it. And even if it's, maybe a Shaklee Cares product, if it's just that little bit that you need, the little extra effort is going to mean so much more for you to get to that next bracket that we need to help you to get to your next promotion. And so the last day of the month is where you then have that final reconciliation in the morning and go, okay, I've done it. It's all good. Now, back in the day, they used to give you a few days after, but the problem is that all of a sudden now that messed with the whole time period of what you had for the next month. So cutting it off at the end of the month is the only way that you'll be disciplined and work with your people to be disciplined and focused on what they need to do. And what that will mean for you as we go forward, if you do this 15, 5, 2, and 1, then at some point there won't be such a rush at the end of the month. There won't be that stress, because if you're using that and you're working with those people and coaching with them, the whole idea is that if you remind them at 15 days, they could pick up an extra, new or two customers. They could talk to someone that hasn't reordered. You could do a lot of different things about having them try new products, or picking up some extra products. So just remember that at the end of the month, it shouldn't be a stressful time. If you guide yourself and then you coach and guide others, that will come a lot more naturally. And financially, what that will mean for you once you start building up the momentum, and it doesn't have to be just in the first 30 days. But the fact of the matter is that you can start stretching to these higher levels. And a lot of people, whether it's an extra $500 a month or an extra $800 a month, or eventually maybe the goal is to be at extra $1,000 a month. When we started, the whole idea was that Cheryl just wanted to be able to get our products for free, make enough money to get our products for free. And then eventually the opportunity started to grow and grow. And we started to help other leaders to Shakleyize their homes and their lives. And next thing you know, it started this huge movement. And we're just so blessed to be a part of it. We're so excited about what that's done to help people financially, the tax benefits that come with it as well. And nothing, of course, can beat the health benefits of what Shaklee has to offer. So we're proud of each and every one of you. Continue to work with your new people and those that have been around a while, because I can tell you right now that I know the calls that Cheryl makes to some of the people who have been around for many, many years. But knowing that she's calling them at the appropriate time, there's not that stress when you get down to the final day of the month. And today is the final day. So I hope that you've already done that. And if you haven't, you still have time because tomorrow is the final day. So we'll call this day one more day left. And I hope tomorrow morning you'll start, any other calls you need to do, any more follow-ups you need to do to stretch to get to that next level. So I'm proud of each and every one of you. Look forward to continuing to celebrate the success that all of you are having and seeing your smiling face in person in Nashville. It's going to be a great time. And I hear we're going to possibly have an opportunity for a little VIP treatment, and you'll hear more about that for some very special guests that will join us for a gathering. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to our lovely daughter, Amy. Thank you for all that you do as you are rolling in your wheelhouse, making things happen all across the nation. Go ahead and take us home.
Yes, sir. That was very good. Thank you both for that insightful information. That was awesome. Yeah, there might be a little green room action at the VIP wheelhouse situation kind of thing going on. So we'll see about that. More to come on that for sure, but definitely going to be some line dancing. So everybody get ready for that.
Yeehaw!
We'll send out some videos or something here soon. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And I hope everyone wraps up this month very strong and goes into July. This is our Independence Week. So let's celebrate. And sorry, Canada, not so much for the Independence Week, but I'm sure you're feeling the energy here. It's the 250th. It's a big deal here. So yeah, I'm on my way to actually Washington, D.C. for the 4th. So looking forward to that. So I don't know where I'll be at next Monday, but I'll be here on the green team call with you all. So that being said, everyone have a great week and we'll see you next Monday.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July, everyone.
Bye, everyone.